Grade 10, Chapter 1, Lesson 3, Microsoft Access. Before starting the Lesson 3, we have to go back and explain what we did or review what we did in Lesson 2. And as you see in Lesson 2, we show students how to create a blank database, and then after inside how to create a table and how to switch to the mode design view in order to fill the structure of the database and not the content. And at the end of this lesson, students have to remember always that once the database is created, two steps should be performed: is to create the header of the table, and then after to fill the content of the table, and that's what we are focusing on right now. And the creation of the header consists of defining the different columns that form the table. So the first column, let's say name, the second column address, date of birth, and so on. And at the end, maybe you ask your students to say why a dentist needs a database in his daily work, and what kind of data does he need in this database. The idea of asking students such a question is to make sure that he had the capacity to analyze a specific problem for a specific activity. And this exercise could be for a school, a restaurant, a tech company, a pharmacy, a hospital. So you can choose any of the activities you can from your choice, and then ask them to analyze the data they need. Then after in this lesson, we go through the steps in order to create the header of the table once we are on in header view, in design view, and on the screen it helps you to design the table you want to create. Look here on step 5 and 6. The header is created: first name, last name, address, telephone, and email, and the data type is short text. After there is a specific lesson in order to explain them what is data type and how can data type affect the control of the data input. And at the end, we ask the students to switch to a datasheet view. So here, if I create, for example, this table name, address, and telephone, I go through the view mode and to datasheet mode. The computer is asking me to save the table, and once saved, I can start filling in the information as you see, record 1, record 2, record 3, and so on. Okay, so back to the PDF file. On page here we show you how to switch from design view to datasheet view, and then after students will see how to fill in the records, so as many records as you want. Following, we can see how to change the structure of a table, and then by adding a column, by deleting a column, or by modifying the title of a column. So here are simple manipulation. So as you can see, you have to switch to the design view, and after once you select once you select a row, for example, you can, as you see here, you can delete a specific row, or you can make a right click in order to insert a new row in between, and modify the name of the column, last name, for example, and here first name. So I guess those manipulations are really simple for students in grade 10. The most important, I repeat, is to understand the concept of how to create the structure of a table, not by how to create a database, how to create the structure of a data of a table and the columns and the needed for this task. Back to the PDF file, as you see here, I can modify, I can delete, I can change, and then after we will ask a first project to be done. Create and access a database named film. It contains the best films you have seen this year, include in the table all the possible details. Here, as you see, what is written in green are the columns that form a table. And as you see, we are helping students to get started with a database. That's why we are giving them hints how a table is created at the level of a header. So the title, language, date of production, main actors, awards, and others. But at the end of this chapter, students must be able to define by themselves the content of a table. And once the table is created, fill it with 5 movies or 5 films. After that, display the structure, add the column category, for example, action or drama, delete the column award, and modify the name of the column, date of production, to DOP. So I believe that this project will cover all the concepts and all the skills developed through the first lesson, second lesson, and the third lesson. And here we have a small research to do. You can ask your students to make a research on the internet to see what are other programs that manage database, like I said before, Oracle, and of course there is many like MySQL, which is a database created over the internet.